National Football League, as we bring in Tori Gurley, gets going in earnest tonight with a pair of preseason games. Pittsburgh at Philly, Washington at New England. Hey, I almost didn't recognize you. You look smarter. What's up with the specs, Tori? What's up?
I'm getting old.
Right. What are you, 35 now? Have you hit 35 yet?
Not yet. I'll be 34 in November, but been working on the computer since COVID, and my eyes are starting to get bad, so I have to start wearing glasses, because if not, I'll be out here running into people.
Well, you look good. You always look good. Hey, I got to ask you this. Tonight, Washington, New England, Cam Newton versus Ryan Fitzpatrick. They're playing the ones, both sides. That's pretty wild for a preseason game one, wouldn't you say?
No, both teams need this dress rehearsal. It's been a while since these guys had action. You know, Cam went down due to injury last year, and what they have with the Washington football team is they're trying to integrate a new quarterback into the system, and everybody need these live reps. So I think it's a great opportunity for these guys to go out and showcase themselves on a big platform on NFL Network tonight.
How do we feel about, well, let's go with the Patriots, because that's the one. Nobody wants to talk about Washington. Everybody wants to talk about the Patriots. Like, it looks like there is a mad scramble for the number one job there. And did you think that Mac Jones would be this close to stealing the job from Cam Newton this early?
That's scary. I thought Cam, with him being a veteran, he would be able to fend off Mac Jones, but Bill Belichick, he doesn't play favorites when it comes to the best man playing. Once upon a time, there's a guy named Drew Bledsoe. He was the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, and he was replaced by this dude named Tom Brady. You know, whoever heard of this guy? And literally, the rest is history. We all know what happened with the Patriots and Tom Brady's career, and the same thing that can happen with with Tom Brady and Drew Brees. The same thing can go down with Mac Jones and Cam Newton. Even at one point, Jimmy G was pushing Tom Brady to be even a greater player. So New England wants to get back in the driver's seat of being a winning football team, because, I'm quite sure those guys weren't used to watching the playoffs at home like everyone else this past fall.
Well, I wonder if football's or sports is ever going to get back to normal after COVID. If it's permanently shaken up the game. So you got your ones playing tonight in preseason game one in that game, but then we just find out this morning the Giants aren't going to play Daniel Jones this weekend, and the Packers aren't going to play your boy Aaron Rodgers all preseason. What'd you think about that announcement?
Yeah, I was just there in Green Bay a couple days ago, and I saw that coming. Obviously Aaron is a vet, so as long as he's around the building, that's the only thing that mattered to that organization. But with Daniel Jones, I'm kind of shocked. I figured he would be a guy that gets in and gets some reps, because his career has been up and down, and he's coming into a contract year. So this is a major year for him. So I guess, every team has their own way of doing things. But, if I have a young quarterback, I got to get him out there and give him those reps, because once this thing kicks off in September, all the games really do count.
What do you think? And should we believe, by the way, what we're hearing out of Chicago, that Justin Fields might be the best quarterback of the bunch? I mean, he hasn't played a game yet, but you're seeing the reports, right? Like, they're seriously considering starting him in week one, and they got Andy Dalton there. Does it surprise you that Fields is faring so well in his first camp?
So let me give you guys a little background story. So obviously, I'm working with a lot of high school kids, and I've been traveling around the country, and I've been to Ohio State at least 3 or 4 times, literally. I met with the head coach, Ron Day, every time, as well as the quarterback coach, Coach Dennis. Justin Fields is that guy. Like, it scares me, like, how talented this guy is. Like, he slipped in a draft. We don't know why, but everything happens for a reason. I'm happy he's not in New York, because he would have to deal with that dumpster fire up there. But with him being in Chicago, they're a quarterback away from being a contender. And he's a guy that, I'm not saying he's going to go out here and go light it up, but he can have one of those breakout years where we saw with the RG3, saw with the, with the Dak Prescott, his rookie year. I feel like he's going to have one of those type years where he puts the league on notice, because the Bears defensively are stout. I mean, it's kind of hard to move the ball on. They just didn't have anyone that can quarterback them out of a bad situation. So having a dynamic player like Justin Fields, he's my worst nightmare as a Packer fan. I feel like the Bears could easily win the division.
Well, then you weren't. Was the Orange Bowl, wasn't it, that he threw 5 touchdowns and they upset Clemson last year, and it still wasn't enough to move him up in the draft? Like, what did GMs and scouts have against this guy? Obviously, you weren't surprised by his showing in that game.
No, and he was playing with broken ribs. All those touchdown passes he threw, his ribs were broken, all of them. So the guy he's a football player. He loves it. He's a great guy. I've had an opportunity to speak with him. Very impressive. And, he's one of those players where he can have a breakout year like a Kyler Murray or a Russell Wilson, where he jumps on the scene and is like, holy cow, I'm a Bears fan now. So I truly believe in this guy.
Man, Tori, I feel like we could go on. We could rack up a phone bill, me and you, right here, talking about this stuff, because I want to go back to the Green Bay thing. But what about Cleveland? Have you been in Cleveland this summer?
I haven't been to Cleveland yet, but I've spoke with a lot of scouts and guys that's on the teams, obviously Jadeveon Clowney. And, it's all going to fall on the shoulders of Baker Mayfield. The defense is stout. They open up with the Kansas City Chiefs this year, so that's going to be a measuring stick type of game where you can see how you stack up against the champs, but it all falls back on him. You have Odell Beckham on offense. You have Jarvis Landry. You have Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. I mean, this team is loaded. It's all going to fall on Baker Mayfield, so we will see.
Yeah, well, who has of your teams, and Tori, by the way, played for more than Green Bay and Cleveland, but he just considers himself alum of those two because he played for them the most. Who has more wins, Green Bay or Cleveland?
Ooh, I'll go with Green Bay. I think Green Bay should go, 12-5 or 13-4. It wouldn't shock me. Like every year, they're a great regular season team. Their nemesis has been the NFC Championship game, and one of the problems they have is, stopping guys on defense, or stopping the run. That's been their nemesis, getting pushed around, and we'll see if those guys can step up at the plate and make a difference. But, everybody want to see Aaron Rodgers get back to the Super Bowl because I feel like if he gets there, he will win it. But it's just been a struggle to get over that hump over the past few years for him.
I'm just trying to look it up here. Projected wins. This is from CBS Sports. The Chiefs projected most wins at 12. Packers 11. Browns 10. So that's that's all good teams. But all anybody cares about is the America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. 9 wins projected by CBS Sports. We've got some drama cooking already. Woo! In Oxnard, how are you feeling about the Dallas Cowboys, Tori?
I think Dak Prescott is hurt. They're trying to do damage control and come up with these different tweaks and excuses. But, whenever that stuff comes out about an MRI and someone's shoulder, especially a quarterback, it's just a bad sign. And we definitely don't want to see that because we all love Dak Prescott. He's a great guy, team leader. And, you want to see every team be as healthy as possible going into the regular season. But if you're already down your number one quarterback, the chances of those guys beating the Buccaneers or winning 9 games this year is slim to none. So, hopefully he has a speedy recovery. And because I want to see Dallas, at their best. I don't want to see backups playing in the regular season because we all know how that hamstrings the offense. And, you really can't do as much as you want to do because now you're spoon feeding your quarterback instead of just letting him play and be himself.
Well, I don't know. I mean, last year they signed Andy Dalton, and I was excited in the Red Rifle, but the team just went, poof, as you know, when Dak got hurt. And then this year they brought back Dan Gilbert, and I call him Danny Bonaducci. Yeah, Ben DiNucci. But they didn't really upgrade, and we didn't know that Dak was even going to be 100%. And it's not his ankle now, it's his arm, but whatever. They'll be fine because it's America's team. I don't assume you watched Hard Knocks the other night. Did you or did you?
I've watched bits and pieces of it. What are you going to talk about? Mike McCarthy's speech?
Yeah, go ahead. What'd you think? It wouldn't surprise you, I'm sure.
Yeah, that was scripted. When I see him, I would tell him, just be yourself, Mike. I understand you're on television and, Jerry Jones is, he's around you is a lot different from being in Green Bay. But, I remember Mike as being a coach that was hard-nosed, and, he really pushed us to be great. And then when I saw that, that clip, and, I watched it a few times on social media, that wasn't him. I just think that was something he practiced for cameras, and, it's just not as authentic as what everybody, what he needs to be, especially being a head coach.
Could we bring in Moose, by the way, because he said the exact same thing. Could you please tell Tori what you...
No, really. It just seemed awkward. It seemed like he was, trying to do what he thought a coach was supposed to do, and he wasn't authentic at all. It was really awkward. The whole show and the way he conducted himself was really awkward.
Yeah, sometimes less is more. And, just tell guys, hey, man, let's get after it. One day at a time. Let's keep working, let's keep grinding. But, having this big speech or whatever is just that rubbed me the wrong way. But, hey, it's for TV. That's why we're on here talking about it. That's why we're on Rod's show, and it's a segment.
You're saying that's not him, though. A different Mike McCarthy.
Absolutely. Yeah. And he's not that. That's not that guy.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. I watched the news conference from camp in Hard Knocks. And Jerry Jones did all the talking. And McCarthy, why was he even there? Like, I don't even like Mike McCarthy. And I'm like, Jerry, can you let your coach talk? This is my team. But we're dysfunctional, all right? We're a dysfunctional family trying to hold it together and win a 6th Super Bowl, which we probably will. By the way, you got something on that before we move on?
Yeah, you guys gonna buy tickets to the Super Bowl?
Sure. Yeah. Well, we might. We might. We'll see you there.
You're just buying tickets.
We're going to be there no matter what, Tori, and you can come to our Super Bowl party. I'm just looking at some of these viewers here. Adam Ridlow says, good morning from the Hammer. Can't wait for week 2 in the CFL. I love watching your shows live during my vacation. Cine Girl is in Pittsburgh. She says, good morning, Rod. I'm really excited about the Pittsburgh-Philly game tonight. Go Steelers. Tori, you are a long ways from old. You look fabulous. That's from Cine Girl. So, yeah, she's a smart one with a good eye. We open week 2 in the CFL tonight, Tori. Last point. How did you feel about week 1? Quality of play, results, and all that?
I was definitely happy to see the game. First of all, I was happy to see the guys back out there on the field. I feel like it's been the longest training camp for those players because, we had to go through COVID. Then there was so many guys to get injured during camp. And, some of these upset wins, like, Bo Levi talking about it was going to be an easy win with him, Calgary versus Toronto. And with Toronto going in there and getting the dub, that was huge. Also seeing, Ottawa with the big win versus Edmonton. I definitely want to see my guy Trevor Lawrence get back on track. Not Trevor Harris get back on track because that was, we got to put up more than 12 points, Trev. I love him, and I know he can light it up, at least put 28 on the board and have the defense to pin their ears back and go after the guys. So, and then I was shocked to see Hamilton lose the way they did. Like, when I played a few years ago, those guys were strong coming out of the gate. But Winnipeg went out there and put it on them. So it's going to be exciting to see how everyone looks and bounce back in week 2.
Absolutely. Tori, always great seeing you. Fantastic analysis. You're the best on the continent. My best to Kim and the whole crew, and can't wait to chat with you next time.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
You bet, bud. Tori Gurley joining us, our NFL analyst on the RP Show, NFL CFL alum.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.